We're live. Hello, Future Bestsellers. We were hanging around a little bit to see if Doll showed up beforehand. Sometimes with the time difference, she doesn't get the message until late. And obviously, we have not been super reliable. I have not been super reliable. Everybody else here is. So, hi, you guys. Welcome back. We're so happy to see you. I really missed you guys. I have to say, right? It's been I think it's been like 4 weeks we were off. And yeah, I don't think we've ever been off that long. So, yeah, so anyway, welcome back. Hi. So tell me what you guys have been up to since we have not had a chance to catch up. And hi everybody in the chat. I'm very glad to see you guys. Michelle, what have you been up to for the last month?
I have been once again struggling to get my schedule under control. It feels like the eternal, yeah,
constant battle.
Yeah, I've kind of I don't want to say I've put my own book on hold, but I just kind of was looking at my schedule and realized I have some openings in July and August, and I'm going to keep it that way, and I'm going to make that my book time because fiddling with it every day a little bit has just made me feel like it's taking me forever to write this book, and I don't like that feeling.
Right.
I'm gonna like close it and get myself mentally excited about it so that in July I'm like,
you're ready to roll. Yeah. So it's so fun. So I'm actually going to take July off because I really do need it. For you guys who don't know, I know lots of you have messaged me privately to say, what's happening? Are you dead? And it's just my daughter has chronic illness and she's been really, really sick and in and out of the hospital. And so it's just been like day to day, week to week, and everything's just been really rough. However, I feel like there's sunshine on the horizon. She had like a pretty good day yesterday. I feel like we turned a big corner, so I'm excited about that. But I launched into that big story, which I did not mean to do, because I had put off the book project that I had planned to work on in April, and I'm going to be working on it in August. I am taking July off because I really feel like I just need like the mental break. I had to do like some client work yesterday, and it took me like hours and hours and hours to write, not very much. So I need like that quiet, but I'll be your writing buddy in August if you want. Yay. Yes, right. We'll do a little accountability thing. Yeah. So, cause I need to get like back on the horse with my own project. So
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
Michelle as well. That was my problem, coming into the end of last year. And I decided to take December off, and then Georgie got COVID in January. So everything has been just like exacerbating my own chronic illness and not focusing that much. So the last couple of weeks, I gradually got back into this and thinking about character arcs and looking over my story from squares, the scene cards, and getting excited about it again. And so little by little, it's the well is refilling, and I'm getting back on track here.
I am so glad to hear that. And I think you really do need, I definitely do. When I get to this point where my brain is so depleted from stress or from other work, and that was it. I also had like tons of really massive deadlines happening at the same time that I was still trying to produce work for clients at this time. And I just need a break. But what we're going to talk about today, aside from getting back on the horse, which we are going to talk about a little bit. And I'm super excited. Who else let us know in the chat, you guys, who else has a book project that you're thinking about working on in August? I'd like to know, like maybe we can do a thing. So, but we're also going to talk about character today because we had a really interesting chat right before we went live about that. So let's say hello to some people. Look who is first today. Dawdling Writer, not so dawdly today. First, congratulations. We're very excited. Steve is here. Hi, Steve. We're very, very glad to see you today. All right. Can I say, I don't think I've ever seen anybody who had their YouTube name be their email address, but I know, right? I'm just wondering, Steve, we can make some friends today. All right. Barrett Lori's here. We have missed you. Of course, I have a haircut booked to 10. Sweetie, your looks have to come first. You're so adorable. You can't let that slide. I feel you. I also got a haircut in the midst of all the chaos. Not that we can tell today, but it's super cute. Anyway, so yes, see you at the replay. Thank you very much. Oh, you're so sweet. Hi, JC. Thank you so much. JC was like really, really sweet, reached out, and I am super grateful for that. Yeah, anyway, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. It's okay if you're 3rd or 4th or 17th. Good morning. We're very, very glad to see you today. Back at ya. So good morning. Mama Ward is here. Hello. We're very glad. We went from like 10 to 17 in like 2 seconds. You guys, people are like, what? It's happening today? They're actually showing up. I'm so happy to see that. We hadn't really, like, we've been streaming really regularly for, has it been like 2 years or 3? It's been a long time. And I think we took off like a couple weeks last summer or something. Like, it's not been, like, for the most part, we're here pretty much every week. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys all coming back, because I thought, are we going to show up today and there's going to be like one person there? But no, you're all back. So thank you. We love you. All right. Morgan's here. Hello, Morgan. Very glad to see you guys. The group's all here. Hello, CB. Very nice to see you. Debbie's here. Hi, Debbie. We're very glad to see you today. Tina. Woohoo. Very nice to see you. CB is taking August off. I think that's a good plan. We all really need it. Oh, look, Cool Gamer's here. Hello, Cool Gamer. Glad to see you today. Hey, Rachel. Very, very glad you're here. So this is so funny. I just got like an email that said, hi, Lisa. You know how it like pops up on your desktop at the same time as I was going through it. I'm like, wait, is that a comment? Where did that? It's been a while. So Margaret's here. Welcome back, writer friends. Welcome back to you. We are very, very glad to see you. CB, you're taking September off too. How is that gonna? That's nice. Like a couple of months off. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I tend to get like when I want to take time off, like I really, really take it off. But then I'm always really kind of itchy to get back to work. Do you guys feel that way? Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think because I really like writing, and so and also it's like so much a part of me that I sort of feel like if I'm not doing that on a regular basis, something is not correct with the universe. So
it's interesting when you get that distance, though, isn't it? That's the thing that you turn to, so you know that it's just a part of you.
Yeah, very true. Although I will say, like when I stop writing, like when I'm not going to work in July. That often what happens is I start doing a lot of other little creative projects. So I'll be refinishing furniture, or I'll, cook or do some other creative stuff. Vixen of Fiction. I love that name. CB, thank you so much. I sure appreciate that. Thank you, JC. I saw your tweet this morning. Actually, I meant to retweet it and I haven't, but I'll do that when we do our 5-minute. Yay. We're so glad you're here. Very nice. All right. CB is going to be in Houston, New York, and DC in September because turning 40, but I will be writing. Yay. Good for you. Hi, Shannon. We're so glad to see you. Thank you so much. Ooh, Vixen's taking some time off too. End of August, 1st of September. I love that. Love that. Rachel, I popped in because my normal group doesn't have any sprints for a few hours, and here are people I've watched. Oh, what? Rachel, we're so glad to see you. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for being here. That is super cool. Well, let's get rolling with a 5-minute warm-up, shall we? Let's do that. Let's do. All right. Let's see if I can share my screen today. It seems like I don't have that many things open, but apparently I have 700 windows open. All right. So there's that. I'm going to put this on full screen. We are going to go ahead and do our 5-minute warm-up sprint, you guys. You can get your documents open. You can get your giant glass of iced tea like I have done today, or your snack of choice. And let's get going and start our 5-minute sprint in 3, 2, 1. Sprint. Or not. Can I just say how much I still love that music even after all this time? Such a dork. Okay. So yay. So what are you guys going to be working on today?
I finally filmed a video I have been trying to finish like for, I don't know, a year. It's about scammy writing courses.
Oh, I love that.
I decided that I just have so much to say about it that it's going to be a series. So I filmed the first video this morning and I'm editing it. And so I edited 2.5 minutes of that.
Good for you. Very, very nice. How about you, Robert? What are you working on today?
I'm going through my scene cards and listing the emotion and making sure that each transaction between the characters kind of has a smooth emotional, step from one pole to the next so that it seems more logical. At least that's what I got from Lejos Igri in terms of cementing your character arc and making it seem plausible and not jumping into things that look like, how did they get from point A to point B? Well,
Yeah. So I think that's such a great topic, and this is a little bit of what we talked about behind the scenes. This morning as we were waiting to come on. I think that there's something so important about that, and what you had mentioned earlier is that a lot of the really popular writing books of today sort of ignore that, right? They're a lot more plot focused, a lot more event focused, and not so much as far as character development. Or we do things like we, know what their favorite snack food is and their eye color and all that, but we don't spend as much time kind of in their emotional life. And I think one of my favorite things about characters is when you have a character who knows they shouldn't do something, but then they rationalize why there's some hole in them that causes them to behave in a way that even they know is wrong, or they rationalize behavior that they know is not in their best interest or is illegal or bad for them or whatever reason. So I love that you're working on that today, because I think it's one of those things that we don't work on enough.
Yeah. And I've watched some videos since I'm delving into this whole character arc thing. And I see these really amorphous things like, your whole character arc and emotional core is this invisible level beneath everything else. And you have to establish all of this action and situation first.
Right.
But that all comes from the idea of movies. As we talked about, movies become more prevalent. So craft books kind of take from that. And I think that it's good to have that merge and learn from one storytelling form. But what you have to understand is why character is left out of so many things like Save the Cat is movies borrow characters from novels and comic books, and they don't really do original screenplays anymore. They don't invest that time and effort into doing those things. But as a novelist, you have to come up with a character. If they're not interesting, then nobody's going to borrow from that.
Well, and if they don't have some depth, they don't feel real, and they don't, right? And your readers won't really relate to them or fall in love with them or hate them or whatever the emotion is that you're trying to evoke from your reader. If they're, if they're these surface characters, then they end up being somebody that you met at a cocktail party, but that didn't really leave an impression on you. So, I'm working on I'm like all in my Notion board today, trying to figure out how to get, catch up on things that I missed over the last month, and also sort of, just get organized. I do think it was interesting. So I know you guys know I have somebody else posting in my social media, my helper Beth, who I love to death. And so we plan my social media way far in advance, and she makes sure it posts, and she'll let me know if somebody messages me and I haven't seen it or whatever. And so I had this very weird disconnect this last month, because here I'm going through this, kind of difficult personal stuff with my family, and everything's really rough, and even from the hospital. And yet I'm still auto posting these perky Instagram messages. And I thought should I just stop it? Should I just let it keep going? You know, when Beth had asked, like, what do you want to do with it? Oh my God, just let it go. It's fine. Just let it keep. We already posted it. Let's not make any more work. Like, it'll just do it. But the funny thing is that people would respond over on Instagram and to like cheerful things that I had posted with cheerful things back. And that actually made me feel better. And so like some days, right, when it was kind of like a rough or terrible day and somebody would be like, oh my God, I love that, you know, just, and then you just go like, okay, that's really nice. So everybody in the chat, what are you guys working on today? Rachel is going to finish an arc. Kind of a fun goal. Love that. Then I can get back to my work in progress. Rachel, since you are new-ish to us, tell us what kind of book you're working on. We're dying to know. What else is everybody going to be doing today? Did I just drool? Hi, first time on camera in a month. Okay. Vixen of Fiction, sketch a page layout for the next scene. Not bad for 5 minutes. Very nice. Sophia's doing a new translation. Good job, Sophia. SD says that would have been awesome. Be ready for it in the next sprint. Of course, Loki probably won't do it again. I feel like I missed something. Hello. Very nice to see you. Thank you so much. Sending my second book of my murder mystery trilogy to my copy editor this week, taking a few days off from writing to find a cover designer, etc. Very, very nice. I love that. That's fantastic. I love that everybody's making progress. Violet's here. Hi, Violet. Very nice to see you. Aw, JL. I missed you too. We all missed you too. We missed each other and we missed you. So, thank you guys so much. All right. So what are we working on? Tina, compiling stories and poems for an anthology. Love that. Love that. Shannon's putting stuff together for a live on my channel later to celebrate my 1 year on YouTube. What? That seems like it went by so fast, doesn't it? It feels like you still feel new to me. So I'm so glad. Congratulations. I say that, but then I think about like I've done a couple things with you. Yeah. So maybe you have been here a year. Apparently you have. Congratulations. That's super awesome. I think you might be a wrench. Feel free to please drop a link into that little celebration later today in the chat. JL working on third quarter book of my series. Second quarter is now out. What? You guys are awesome. All right. JC is doing some reading at the moment. Can I say I started Emily Henry's Book Lovers. I got it on NetGalley. And I liked it so much, I decided to save it and order it in paperback so I could read it in my pool. I like this. It feels like a summer book. I need to yeah. So although my mom's here and she stole it right now, like she's out there reading it on the patio right this very minute. So okay. Goal for today: finish the prologue of book 2. Very.
Don't joke.
I know. I just had like one of those like. All right. I can't breathe. I'm drooling. What is happening today? All right. Right. It's just a normal Wednesday for me. Dawdling writer, answering emails, printing out documents that I need to file. Very nice. Erin, welcome, welcome, welcome. New here, tuning in from North Carolina, not working on a fictional work, but working on dissertation research during the spring. Good for you. During the sprint. I got it. Very nice. So, Erin, welcome. You can do any kind of writing here, or you can just hang out and use us for background noise as you clean your house, which is something that sometimes people do. And we're totally cool with that. We are very happy that you are here. So very, very nice to meet you and to see you. Welcome. Rachel, work in progress is urban fantasy, male, paranormal romance series that my partner and I have already written just as a hobby. I'm revising for publication. What? I need a cover design for the first 3 thanks to sprints. Good for you. Very, very nice. And Debbie's doing some penciling today. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and do our first 20-minute sprint, and then when we come back, I want to talk more about character development. All right, here we go. It would be super helpful if I actually pop this thing up on the screen. I'm a little out of practice if you guys haven't noticed. All right, so here we go. So let's stretch your little fingers. Oop, it's going without me. stretch your little fingers and get your water and your document all ready to roll, or your creative project, whatever you're working on today. Thank you so much for being back with us. I am super glad you guys are here, and I'm really glad we get to write together. All right, here we go. Let's make some words happen in 3, 2, 1. Sprint. All right. Um, so welcome back, everybody. So it's so funny how your brain just knows when it's been 20 minutes. I looked up, I was like, that feels like it should have been over by now. And I look up, there was like 12 seconds left. What? Amazing. All right, Robert, you're still muted.
Okay, I hit it, but it didn't unmute.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't take. Sometimes it doesn't take. All right, so dawdling writer took care of a phone call I've been dreading. You know how that is? Good for you, because we spend so much emotional energy, like, yeah, with those things. And but sometimes you just can't make yourself do it. And yet once you do it, it always takes less time than you think. It always feels better after you do it. So I feel like I've had a lot of those lately. So I'm very glad that you made it. Yay, dawdling writer. So Regina says hi to Michelle, who'll be back in just a second. Victoria's here. Hello, Victoria. We are very, very glad to see you. SD still putting stuff together for the live today. Tina added 2 stories. Nice job. Rachel says phone calls make me anxious. So sometimes I would rather do a phone call, right? Just to knock something out. But sometimes, yeah, if it's one of those where you're totally dreading it. JL says, thank you, Michelle, especially for one of your more recent videos that needed to be said, and many hugs for being brave. I missed that. When were you recently brave? You're often brave. You're really great about calling out the publishing industry when it needs to be called out.
I think what JL is referring to is actually a lot of AuthorTubers lately have been making videos about mental health and as it pertains to our profession and the pressure to be productive and
constantly
inspired by actually Morgan Lee and Barrett Laurie both had excellent videos that inspired me to make my video. So
all right, I'm gonna have to go check all those out.
Yeah, definitely.
I just disappeared, but yeah, I think that and I know Barrett has had some health stuff going on lately, so I'm very glad that you guys all did videos on that. I'll have to check those out. Very, very good.
Yeah, I think the pressure makes us do erratic, stupid things, or it just cuts us off and stops us, cold. And neither one of those things are good.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. I feel like I was at the point where I just could not, I could not take on one more thing. I couldn't not only take on one more thing, I could not handle just the basic things. I told Mike, just, you're getting your own dinner for the next week and a half. Do not even ask me. This is you're for a week and a half. I'm not in charge of food at all. Right? Because it was all I had to eliminate everything that wasn't absolutely necessary. And I think that we feel as writers, you get so bogged down with all the stuff you're supposed to be doing and the massive list of promotional stuff, and you should be producing all the time, and you should be putting out 4 books a year or 12 books a year or 87 books a year. And at some point it's not, you can't do that. The human body can't do that. And your brain can't do that. Right.
It's really funny. I mean, this book that we were talking about was written in 1942, and this guy is still talking about people who were rushing to, get their work published or get their plays produced, and not really taking time and putting all this pressure and skipping all these steps. And history just repeats. And that's because, like we said, human nature really doesn't change. We just keep going around in circles because we don't realize those wheels have been invented and people have already done this. And looking at the results of what they've done and who, remains standing after the, whatever they were doing, but we just repeat it. We have to prove it to ourselves that we're right and they were wrong.
True. Vixen said JC's was very good too. Thank you to everybody who did that. All right, now I know I'm going to be doing this afternoon.
I watched JC's as well. Sorry, I should have said
that. Rachel says, especially those who have had things in our past that make us think if we aren't productive, we're failures. This latest bunch of videos from so many of you are really needed. Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that. And, my self-help persona kind of realizes that, again, we talked about this a little bit before a while back, and we've all been through a bunch of crap with COVID and everything that's been going on in the world. And that means there's an emotional and even a physical shift in most of our lives. And it's quite natural that when we get to those points of transition, that our emotions will hit the highs and the lows, and we bounce back in between. Neither one of those highs or lows, great happiness or sadness, are a lasting emotion. And it's letting things kind of catch up and find their balance. And you're becoming the gray Jedi, not the light side or the dark side.
Not the light side or the dark side, the gray Jedi. I like that. I really like that. Yeah, I think that well, and I do think there's so much pressure, but I will say, like, I can't tell you how many authors, big authors, successful authors that we think like must go and never ever burn out, but that's not true. I literally don't know a single author who has not had some time where they burned out, or where they had to step back, or their life just overtook them. And I will also say that the most productive time in my entire life was when I would drop my kids off at school, go to the beach and write for 3 or 4 hours, and then go home or have lunch with a friend, and then go pick up the kids. Like, that was the most productive time. And yet hour-wise, I worked the least amount of time. And so, yeah, it's hard too. Okay. So this is such a good point, JL, about being a caregiver. It's really, really tough to do. I feel like we still never leave our houses.
Yeah.
Right. But then taking care of kids, taking care of other people in your family who are sick, taking care of people, who have COVID, like all of that, special needs, elderly parents, all of that stuff. There's so much more on all of us. Yeah. And I think, if you're the writer and you're at home, a lot of that stuff falls to you because you're home.
Yeah.
So, right. So even though you have to be like really, you really have to guard your time, but there are tons of single moms on AuthorTube, and, that's it. Like, you're everybody. You got to do all that stuff. Or I shouldn't just say single moms, single parents. We have some single parents too. So, yeah. Anyway.
I've thought a lot about Stephen King saying, when a writer's life becomes very interesting, we don't write a lot. And we've all had very overly interesting experiences over the past couple of years. And, to those of you who managed to keep being productive, congrats. I mean, that's great. But for those of us who haven't, I was thinking back when I went to art school, and there's that point where you're kind of getting bogged down with situations, and I guess the fear and anxiety kind of builds up. And I remember when I went to art school, it was scary. I wasn't very old. I was moving out into the world for the first time. I had like $600 in the bank after I got my car on the road. And yet I moved to New Jersey. I started art school. I had my first job. And if I got paid from that small company, they would have paid me exactly $600 another month's rent. And I took the leap because the desire to do it was stronger than the fear. Right. And I think that's the place that you get to, where you start moving ahead again, where that desire builds up and it overcomes the anxiety and the fear.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's definitely some truth to that. My mother made us your own, so I get it. Believe me, I get it. It's not easy being a parent, but it's almost worse being a single parent. I'm glad I'm not a kid or a parent these days.
Yeah.
It really, yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough for everybody right now. That's the thing. Like, everybody there are obviously people who are taking care of other people. That's sort of a special amount of, it's like double draining because you're also dealing with your own stuff, but then their stuff as well. But I think so many people, they feel lonely or isolated or overworked, or like the economy is weird right now. Like, there are jobs and money, but everything costs $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million. It was approximately $1 million to fill up my car. And I was like, what? My car's a little tiny car. It's cute. I used to be able to fill it up for like $20 and go for weeks. And I feel like, yeah. So anyway, yes.
Yeah, not me. I have a 20-gallon gas tank and get 18 miles to the gallon. So when I fill up my gas tank, it's like $2 million.
So I used to have, like when my kids were littler, I had an Armada, which looks exactly like it sounds. It's a giant SUV. You can fit 8 kids in that car and like surfboards and whatever else you might need. And I love that car because I could always be the mom that like drove everybody to everything. And I really enjoyed that. However, the last time gas prices were high, that car was like, it was like $100 a week to fill it up, which is insane. And after I sold that car, I went to a very small car. I drive a little Honda Fit, which is adorable and gets like 1 million miles to the gallon. And like I said, I usually would spend like $20 to fill that thing up. Now I'm spending like 40, but I still, it still gets really great gas mileage. So I have nothing to complain about. But I think about all the people that have those great big kid cars that that are spending and that gas was not even as high as it is now, so it probably costs like 125 a week. How much are you spending, Robert?
The last time I filled it up is before the gas prices jumped, and I think it was between $60 and $70, and it wasn't completely empty. So,
Yeah, that's crazy. Very crazy. All right, Regina says, I took the leap at 27 back in the day before the internet. A year later, went back to a day job. Everything took so long back then. I decided I needed the security of a day job.
Yeah.
CB says, I don't drive yet. I'm working on it. My dream car is an Audi e-tron. Very zoomy. Very, very nice. Love that. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and do another sprint. It is 12. We have like this kind of mellow stream going. I sort of like it's like a good sort of decompression on the way back in, though. I think it's very nice. All right, hold on, let me rewind this timer, which has already gone to 8 minutes. I'm not quite sure how it did that without me. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody, we've got this. I don't know what you're working on today, but I'm sure it's important. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you're just hanging out to chit chat and have a little mental health week, and that's okay too. That's pretty awesome. All right, here we go. I'm going to hit the share button. Did we get it? Yay. All right, let's start our next 20-minute sprint in 3, 2, 1, sprint. Okay, here we go. For some reason, I could not get that in my headphones. I have no idea why. All right, let's stop that share. There we go. Hello, everybody. So this was an interesting question from Regina. She said, Michelle, remember the surprising royalty check you got? Do you think that had anything to do with your subsequent burnout in the sense that there was money in the bank? So why work?
That is an interesting question. I really don't think so. I was already getting burnt out before that happened. Also, I put that check into the savings account and promptly deleted the fact that it existed from my brain. Like I'm not treating it like, oh, now I don't have to work for the next couple months. It's in savings and that's that. But I was on my way. I just have not done a good job of keeping I don't know, scheduling myself an appropriate amount of work and also giving myself breaks this year.
Yeah.
So that was going to happen, check or no check, I think, for sure.
Yeah. I think part of the challenge for writers is that many of us do freelance projects on the side. And so whether they're book projects or other writing projects or just other projects. And so what happens is that we get into that like feast or famine freelancer mentality where you feel like you can't turn down any work, especially if it's really well-paying work, because then you're like, yeah. I mean, that I definitely have experienced that on many, many occasions where you're just like so overwhelmed, and yet some shiny new project comes in, especially a shiny new project with a good price tag on it, and you think like, well, maybe I could take on one more project.
Constantly talking myself into it, like I'm going to regret turning it down later when all of a sudden all my work dries up and I have nothing, which has not happened yet.
Right. Right. There is something to that though. Like it's I mean, I think every freelancer has had some sort of like a drier spell. Although I always feel like generally, like right when you're like, oh crap, what's happening here? That's when some other project will sort of drop into your lap. But I do feel like they come kind of clustered.
It used to kind of be that way when I was doing comics, and almost every time that extra job came along, it was momentary joy for that extra cash, and I almost always regretted it in the end.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Because eventually you're just like, there is not enough me to do all of these projects. How am I going to make that happen? And I foolishly believe that I can always organize my way out of any overscheduling disaster, right? If only I have more stickers on my planner, then time will cease to exist. And I'm not even talking in my mic. There, can you hear me now? Yeah. So yes, I totally feel that. Cecil Runo's here today. We are very glad you made it in the chat. Also glad that you're sleeping. I think that's very, very, very important.
Yeah.
Regina feels the pain here, has also experienced that. Look who's here. Laura's here. Hey, Laura, we're very glad to see you. And look who else is here. Hello, RC. I'm so glad you guys made it here. All right. So Doll says, always save up some money. Wisest thing we can do. Yes, that's true. Stacy is here. Hi, Stacy. We're very, very glad to see you. All right. So Vixen is playing. Yeah, love that. Super cool. Very nice. We have lots of highs back and forth with that. So do you feel like, I know we sort of got sidetracked. We were talking about character development, but I do feel like everybody's like really relating to the whole burnout factor right now. So do you feel like after you made your video and talked about feeling burned out, did you feel better?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It always helps. There's something very therapeutic for me about turning on the camera and just being like, bleh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of you guys who watch, you're my therapist. Thank you for being my therapist.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's something to that. Well, yeah. And just like, then you're not carrying that sort of burden alone, and you have other people who are going through the same thing or are supporting you in some other way.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I'm really just so touched that everybody's here today because, like I said, when everything started to go really badly with my daughter's illness, I was like, it was all I could do to just say, like, we're not going to make it today. And then the last couple of weeks, I think I didn't even put anything up. Like, we just did not show up. And so I really, really appreciate that everybody like came back, and I'm just like, don't make me cry in the stream. Okay. Laura is where, let's take more comments so I don't cry. Laura's working the day job, just learned how to make super cool CG dust particles. What? That sounds super awesome. Very nice. Such a cool day job. Doll is fooling around because my manuscript was with the editor and I'm just waiting and panicking. Editors are good. Editors make our work better. Hopefully, if good editors make our work better, some editors don't, but let's hope yours does. I'm sure they will. All right. Dawdling Writer, approximately 500 handwritten words in that sprint. That was a really good one. Yay. Fantastic. Laura submitted 2 stories for publication this morning. Yeah, very, very nice. Doll says, I'm definitely not best on camera. I'm so glad I can still script and record some form of video. So you guys know I did like the newsletter ninja video. It's 3 parts, all edited, and this is how bad things were. I uploaded the first 2 as promised. The third one still sitting in my hard drive. Done, completely done. Nothing left to do. Just need to upload it. I think that will be my goal for the day. Yeah, that's how bad. Okay. I feel the burnout pain that you guys were talking about. I'm going to be binge watching those videos all afternoon, I think. So RC is redoing the outline for their graphic novel, trying out a new technique for speeding up my writing. Ooh, very cool. You want to share what it is? And is it dictation? Or is there another secret new strategy? I have to say I love dictation. I don't do it as well with fiction, but when I'm writing nonfiction, oh my gosh, does it make things so much faster. And can I go back to this really fast? So I had like messed around and I have like a super old version of Word, which is why I had not updated my computer because I was like, I am not paying monthly for something that I already own. That's the same thing I've paid for a long time because that's how stubborn I am. And now, and also because that's like my voice dictation was connected with Word. And now Google, of course, as they always do, has voice typing on regular Google Docs. You can just open up a regular Google Doc and start yammering away. And and it's really good. It's a lot better than what I was using before. So yeah.
You know, the interesting thing in those old word processors, you kind of miss it. I mean, technology gets better, but then there were times when it was just more interesting or the layout was different and more convenient. I don't know, but I frequently go back to older computers just to have a break and write stuff.
Yeah, I never liked the updated, like I'm literally still working on Word 2008, which I have to do all kinds of special hoops to make work on my computer because I've not liked any of the subsequent updates, and that's what a pain in the neck I am. So there you go. So yeah, right. It doesn't work. It's a pain in the neck, and I'm finally just gonna have to give it up because my tricks have stopped working to make it work. But I did not like the updates. I felt like they just made it worse and worse, and I really like that older, cleaner version because I'm a nerd. All right. Novelist Allie's here. Hi. We are super glad to see you today. All right. It is 12:30. We have time for one more sprint, and I think we should do it. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've gotten a lot done here. I've got my emotional core all written out. I'm just putting it in my notebook and making little notes on the characters. So this was a very productive stream for me.
I am so glad. Me as well. I really just needed to take a break and get things organized to go forward. And so I am, because I feel like my hair's been on fire for like a month. So I'm very relieved. And just this little bit of quiet time with you guys has just been super awesome. So, all right, hold on. We're going to do our last sprint. 3, 2, 1. Sprint. Okay, it would be super helpful if I unmuted my mic. We're back. Last sprint of the day. I was weirdly, I just really thought I was coming here to chit chat and talk books because I missed you guys. I did not think that I would actually be super productive today, but weirdly enough, I was. So I'm very excited about that. Also, I have to say, thank you. I'm totally digging the very lightsabery background you've got going, Robert. Like,
Thanks.
you got like this sort of neon-y blue. I'm really digging it. I think it looks very, very cool. Love it. Love it. So how did you guys all do in the chat? How are you feeling about what we got done today? And while you guys are writing that, Michelle, let's start with you. How do you feel about what you did today?
Great. I did all the rough cuts for this video. It's about 21 minutes, and I've started making all the overlays, doing all the little detail work. So
you're super fast. Yeah. I'd be like, I've edited 6 seconds of my video so far. Robert, how are you feeling about today?
Really good. I started a task and I finished a task. So
yeah. That's good. I know. I also am feeling very, very good. Very, very good. Let's see. So SD says, oops, hello. Let's see. There we go. Shannon says she's almost ready with the files for her live stream to celebrate her 1-year anniversary on YouTube. Whoop, whoop. All right. That is super awesome. We are very, very proud of you. Let's drop that link back in the chat for anybody who came in a little bit late. But Shannon's actually been here 1 year on YouTube, which seems like it's completely true. And also, how could it have happened that fast? So, and also starting to make me feel like a little bit like YouTube OG, even though we haven't really been around for that long. We're not like OG. We're not like Tamara OG. But I guess we're like middle. We're like middle of the road there. All right, so Dawdling Writer got a really good start to the day. Yay! Doll just rolled out of bed, not being productive today so far, but will soon. That is awesome. All right, here is Shannon's YouTube anniversary writing spouse tag right there. The link is all up. What time does that start, Shannon? Just so we know, is it right after or it's a little bit later today, isn't it? Let's give us a time so we know. JL got daughter off with friend for lunch. Very nice. Very nice. So I'm so glad that we are all here today. I also cannot believe it, but I think we're going to finish like 2 minutes early. So, okay. So like, what is happening? Shannon's stream starts today at 6 p.m. Central Time. That is 7 p.m. Eastern. Vixen of Fiction. That was great. I really worked through getting the pages the way I want them, settling on an art style. Yay! That is absolutely fantastic. You guys have just like made me feel like a human again this week. Yay! Which is such a big accomplishment. And I really am fascinated to watch everybody's videos on burnout.
There were some really good ones.
Yeah, I bet there really are. So, well, let's say goodbye. I realized too, we never did any intros. We just started rambling on. I know. I think they do at this point. But let's do quickie little outros since you guys are here. The least we can do is plug your channels. So I'm going to start with you, Michelle. I think I started with you this is the Michelle stream today. I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little about you and your awesome, awesome channel.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, I'm Michelle Schusterman. I'm a young adult and middle grade author. My YouTube channel is writing workshops, traditional publishing chat, writing blogs, and soon to come, a rant about scammy writing courses. Thank you for having me here.
I am so happy that you are covering that. Like,
yeah,
really
so forward to that one.
Yeah, really, really happy about this. Shannon, thank you so much. You are very, very sweet. I'm very glad you guys all made it today. Robert, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
My dusty channel is The Story Detective. You know, I did make notes over the past week when I was reading this book for some potential videos. So there are plans in the works. It will get going at some point, but I'm in no rush to set a deadline to start that up again. There's other things to do first, and I'm doing them.
Yay! Well, speaking of things to do, I am very glad that you guys are here today, and I'm very glad to have Doll and Carol back next week. And I did get to, weirdly enough, I had posted videos like ahead of time, so they came up, but the third one I had not posted yet, which, even though it was done, still sitting in my hard drive. So my goal for this week, hopefully we will see the third video of the Newsletter Ninja series, which I think was like super, super illuminating. I feel like it must be because I've gotten a lot of email from like people messaging me about specific things in the video. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a traditionally published author of contemporary romance and nonfiction advice. And if you want to write a book you're super proud of and get it published, this is a great place to start. So thank you so much, you guys, for being here. JC, we are so glad. Thank you so much. Can't wait for Michelle's video. No pressure. You guys are awesome. It was so nice to see you today. We will be back next week. And in the meantime, keep on writing. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a great day.